All right, hey, what's up, guys? I want to do a video on rationality versus imitation of rationality because I think it needs to be clarified. So, if you look at the Wikipedia page on rationality, it says rationality has different specialized meanings in philosophy, economics, sociology, psychology, evolutionary biology, game theory, and political science. So it is important to understand that rationality means something different in different contexts. Now, the way I'm thinking of rationality is in terms of how individuals need to think through specific social, cultural, economic, political issues in their own society, because I think that's what's most important. So to me, let me give you my definition of rationality. I would say rationality is looking at all available evidence, questioning, examining, testing your assumptions, then coming to the most likely conclusion or forming the most likely theory based on what you believe you know, while still being open to changing your mind if new evidence comes forward. Okay, here's what rationality is not. It's not being unemotional. It's not talking in a calm, authoritative voice like a newscaster. It's not agreeing with other people who you believe are rational, or agreeing with, it's just not agreeing with other people who you think are smart or rational. It's also not being mainstream. But those are all things that are confused with rationality. Like, people will use the word rational to mean that they disagree with most people. So they'll be like, that's rational. But I mean, look at human history. Human history is just full. I mean, it's just chock full. It's just teeming with really, really misguided views. So, we just know, based on history, that just agreeing with the average person in your culture certainly is not going to make you rational. I mean, look at what Oscar Wilde said, which is a great quote: everything popular is wrong. So in fact, if a view is popular, there's a really good chance that it's wrong. I mean, history shows us that, So I would say people who exhibit those traits that I just mentioned and, act like or pretend that those things are rational, those things constitute imitation of rationality by people who have failed to grasp what rationality actually is. For speaking from experience, if people don't think you're crazy, you are almost certainly not rational. Because as I've defined rationality here, that leads you to an endless number of views which are basically totally incompatible with mainstream culture. And they're things which mainstream culture would find gauche or ghastly or just crazy. But like, if you base your views on the evidence, like, that's where you end up. So the real situation that you have is the majority of the culture leaves their views unexamined, and then they all pretend that they're being rational simply because they agree with each other. And this is like the appeal to the people fallacy or whatever. There's different names for it. It's just thinking they're rational just because other people agree. So everyone pretending they're rational, even though they have unexamined views, actually forms a conspiracy against truth and rationality. You can call this the cult of culture, because it is a cult. And essentially, people who have the intelligence to discover the truth or discover what is most likely to be true based on the evidence. And the people who have the courage to speak it are actually gaslighted by the majority of humanity and by the majority of people in their culture all the time. So it actually requires an exceptional amount of intellectual courage and courage to speak on their part to even voice things that seem obvious to them, but no one else agrees with it. So this is the fate of every genius for at least a large part of their lives or careers, is they're just called crazy. Even if they're demonstrating their views are highly likely to be true based on the evidence. Thank you.